Here I am, live streaming again. Whew. This poem that I wrote the other day, I felt belonged on my homepage, so yeah, I just threw it up there the way that one would, showing you how I did it the other day. And I just put it into a different file, which happens to be index.md in my mikelev.in subdirectory, right? I name my repo name is exactly the domain name of the website it's going to be published on. So this is my main site, Mike Levin, SEO in NYC, and Pocono Pythonista website. Well, so much for that. All right. So I got a mic. I'm Mike Levin. I got a mic. I love to talk. I love to talk into the mic. I love the mic. I'm Mike Levin. I got some tales. Let's begin. Ends up here on my homepage. I need that centered, so I realized I need to center a poem. Center a poem. And the poetry of that occurred to me, as these things do. So, center, comma, a poem. I write poetry. I am often off center. There's some question of cause and effect. I like to think my poetry helps keep me centered, but when I publish it, I'm way too far left. It turns out you must first create a division. If you want to keep centered, you need a centering divide. Divide and center? Is that it? Is this a necessary step? Sigh, yes, Charlie Brown. You must first divide. Okay, so I have a div. What next? And that's when I got up to this and realized it is time to share, because I've got a div. What next? Well, there's so many ways to handle this. And it occurred to me I wanted to start doing inline style equals, and then I'm like, wait a second. I already have this ad hoc style here just to throw in an overflow hidden that was needed on this, just my homepage, because of the rotating logo. So why not create a div here and call its class equals poem? No reason why not. That's exactly what I should do. Poem. Open. And it's funny, CSS is not exactly JSON, JavaScript object notation, even though it seems somewhat like it, so I have to resist the temptation to put a comma there. But what I do have to put here is margin : auto, okay? And then I believe, because I'm looking at a website, center a poem. I searched on center a poem. 11 ways to center div or text. So this is what I'm copying. So it's simply width equals, and then whatever portion you want it to be squeezed down to so that your remaining margins are on your left and right. HubSpot, a site that's dear to my heart. Something that actually followed through on sort of the grand unified image of content management system, tracking system, Salesforce management system, customer relationship management system, and it all puts it together into one unified, master, well, not master, but one unified overriding way to make your whole web presence, where you don't have to allow all these other, best of breeds in. It's a little bit best of breed of everything. And so this is yet another one of those things I could have written myself if I were so inclined back in the day when I made Hittail in 2006, and then went into some sort of abyss or void learning. It's all good. I had a kid. It's the most important thing in my life, right? I had some lessons to learn so I could come back to you now and show you how to keep centered. So that last part is with : I don't know, let's say 50%. Because it's a narrow poem. : quit. I won't use my whole release system. Git commit center a poem. I mean, I will publish center a poem separately. I think that's a good one. Git push, but this is really just my commit message on what I'm doing to the home page, which will take a second for it to propagate. So it's not like I can just pop over here, do a refresh, and oh, I see. Whenever I click here, I'm actually clicking on this, which brings me to the blog, I suppose. Okay, so anyway, that's going to take a moment to propagate. So I will share with you, I guess, Control V for visual block mode, always important. And you know what? Not yet, because, so what next? Okay, so I have a div, what next? Find a place to put a style in line or in head. In head or in line, it flows better. In head or in line. I chose head. Give your div some class. The class I chose is poem. Create a style definition for that class that sets margin to auto. It also must set width to a percentage of container containing element. All right. Okay, so let's see if that took. Oh, look, it did stuff. It moved it, whoops, way too far to the left. That probably means a few things. My containing element is squeezing it. Inspect. So we go into the Chrome inspector, which I have popping up in its own window so it doesn't throw off centering. It'll get sent to back, but we do another inspect to make it jump to the particular element. We can also hit that trickly thing and do it. And so apparently that's this one here. Okay, so it does have class poem, and you can look down and see its CSSs and what's active and what's being overridden and stuff. So I thought I should be seeing like a margin auto, margin 0. That's body margin 0. So, okay, it's CSS. So these things cascade. Section block, main content with 100%. It's fun and funny clicking these things and seeing their differences. Dev poem. Okay, so I wasn't on the right thing. There we go. There's search utilities in here which I could actually use, but there's really not that much listing. There's no reason I shouldn't be able to center it, find it. Do I just, is it a refresh thing? No. Still selected on the right thing, right? Yeah, there's that. Poem. Element style. That's element style. It should be in there. Let's try margin auto and see if I just somehow got it wrong. And then width 50%. There, see, that's the effect I'm looking for. In fact, I can fine tune it a bit here. I'd like to get it even more in the middle. 50% is way too much. Right? So this is interesting. 30 would be playing it safe for people who change their font size and stuff. So the element style is something I'm missing. So when I'm looking at the element style like this, I have to make sure I see what's selected so I'm styling the right thing. Now there's a misfire. It's just a misfire. Margin auto with 30% was put as an inline thing. So I'm going to change my approach, because there is the code that will do it right in line with that div. So it's a change of plans. You know, you got to remain flexible. This is a true one-off. So what does it really matter? I undo this because who needs it? I undo even the definition of the class because it's just a extra name that's not going to have any meaning. And then I paste that in and I save it. I quit, git commit, switching to inline style, git push. And that'll take a moment. So while that's taking a moment, I'll get rid of this because I'll keep it open. So long as that's open, the cache can't work. Because in case you don't do this, you should know that when you go into your settings for this thing, and you go into, I don't know, where is it, preference, somewhere in there, there's a cache thing. Disable cache on when this is loaded. Yeah, you can't search in here. Well, somewhere in here is the fact that I made it so that as long as the Explorer window is showing, it can't use the local cache, which is very, very stubborn on Chrome and will often make you think that your changes that you get committed and pushed didn't really take. So look, I'm doing a refresh. It's there. It's up there now. I'll even get rid of this thing. And so now, oh, we'll see what it looks like on mobile. It's not great, but you know, the point will be gotten across. Different size mobile. We'll see what it does. Kind of cool. 80-20 friggin' rule. Gotta use it. It's a tool. Oh, you know, so there's things I can do. Even though it's centered like that, we'll just make one little attempt at a no wrap because we got CSS in there, right? So CSS no wrap. We don't want those lines wrapping. White space no wrap. One more thing to go in line. Same basic system with the semicolons to separate the different properties. I'll put a space after that semicolon because, you know, why not? Overriding line wraps. Git push. And while that's going, I guess we go over here to distract you with something else while the Jekyll push is occurring, right? So I am wrong. It should be in line. There are no disassociations. There is no disassociating. That way there's no dissociating. Stay centered, my friend. The world is not perfect. Put your styles in line. If that's what you need to get centered right now when you need it. Thank you. Ampersand, number sign, 151, semicolon, Mike Levin. Visual block. Turn it all into a quote. Whoops. At A, because it wasn't the last macro I ran. Got to do the real thing first before you send your add across Hoth. Center a poem. Center a poem. And as is my tradition, when this is done, I'll take the video of the streaming and embed it onto this same page. Very, very meta. The video for the pages don't exist while I'm creating the page. So I'll release that on this side because over on this side it should be fully released. So that I go over here, I do a refresh, and now I change my mobile size, and voila, the poem resists the line break, and it'll look fairly decent on mobile as it does on desktop. I guess it's okay to allow that to be just a little bit more to the left. Can you remember what does more to the left mean? We bring up this, we go to this. Interesting with line wrap. Okay, let's see what 60 looks like without it being on mobile phone emulation. Way too far. So this is what people use media queries for. Let's see if there's a compromise. What looks good on desktop? See, on desktop it looks good with the smaller the better. And then on mobile, that pushes it way too far over to the right. So we tweak it back, making a little compromise for each, which lets the logo get bigger. That's actually quite nice. This is ideal for mobile, and let's face it, most people are going to be looking at it on mobile these days. 66 seems to be almost a universal, looks good in web. 66%, 80%. There's a lot of deep wisdom channeled that way. So I'm going to allow that poem to get shift to the left on desktop. And I don't feel like you're doing media queries right now because the reward of how good it looks on mobile is worth it. So that was 66% on the embed. One more edit, and then I'll let you folks go. I'll look to see if there's anyone commenting in the comment system and maybe talk to you. Shift R, 66, escape, :WQ, : I don't know, just it's not a colon, so you get to git commit overriding line wraps. I don't know. This is 66. Editor of the devil, VI, by the way. VI. Git commit, and that one is the one that I can use in my command line history. Git push, because I already committed, so the push is the one that'll take. That'll take a moment, and I guess while I do that, I'll X out of tabs and stuff and see if there's anything I want to say. Nope, thank you very much, HubSpot. Center a poem. This, which I'll do the refresh on, and you folks over here. Anyone even watching? Yeah, there's one view at one point, but streaming to myself, because why not, right? I don't edit. If you don't edit, you might as well stream. MikeLevin.live, coming soon. Registered for like $2.75 on Namecheap. Good deal. It'll be like $20 next year, but you turn off auto renewal. If you use it, great. If you don't use it, you're out $3. Concurrent viewers, I lost you on that. Thank you. There it is. Control Shift. So every time I click there, I get to Control Shift I. Oh, that's the console. Control I. Right click somewhere other than logo, go to inspect, check it what it looks like on mobile. It looks real nice on mobile. Yeah, I got a mic, I like to talk, I love to talk into the mic, I love the mic, I'm Mike Levin, I got some tails, so let's begin. Thanks for joining me, hope to stream to you soon, and don't forget to subscribe and thumbs up. Boop, boop.